Okay, hello and welcome back. I'm Jay Haley from Palmore Institute. This video is for our Newstime reading class, and in the video, we're looking at the second half of this article I recommended called Flushing Out the True Cause of the Global Toilet Paper Shortage Amid the Coronavirus Pandemic. And once again, if you're just joining us, it's a good idea. Go back, watch the first video first, and come back to this video after you've done that. Okay. But we'll continue on with the article, and this is something that comes out of paragraph number 15. Now, I played a little round with the numbering of the paragraphs. So if you're counting paragraphs on your computer or in the paper, you might have a different numbering, but bear with me. And by my counting, this is paragraph 15. So in paragraph 15, they get into 3 reasons for the toilet paper shortage. They're listed up here. The first one is panic buying. As we talked about at the end of the last video, there's some basic products, rice, bread, milk, things that people really need, and they tend to panic buy in emergency situations. Here, toilet paper is added, and it's not so uncommon, apparently. Apparently, there are big runs on toilet paper anytime there's a big storm or some kind of emergency. So panic buying is one reason here. Okay. Second reason, this is an interesting one. We're using more toilet paper than usual. What they're talking about is we're stuck at home. And at home, it's going to turn out the toilet paper at home is quite different from the toilet paper you probably meet at work or in a public restroom or while you're shopping or even in a restaurant. You probably noticed this. I know I have, but I guess I never really paid attention to it. But yeah, toilet paper is quite different. So since people are home a lot more or home all the time, the toilet paper they are using is the at-home kind, the nice kind. And as a result, there's a shortage of toilet paper. Okay. The final reason here, of course, and this one makes the most sense, it's some combination of reason 1 and reason 2. Okay. Skipping into the next paragraph, they get some quotes from a guy who's kind of working in the stores or in the supply side of the toilet paper industry. And he gives a little more insight into the nature of this problem. He describes it as being a 3-part problem. Let's look at the 3 parts. Paragraph 16. Part 1 of the problem is something called hoarding. Now, hoarding is collecting for your own personal use a large amount of something which is widely needed by the public. Hoarding, again, is a little part of human behavior, but in emergency situations, people will often gather up as much as they can of a certain commodity because they're afraid it will not be available. Here, toilet paper, there probably has been some hoarding of toilet paper, people buying up more than they need just to make sure they have enough when the supply shock hits. The quotation I'll give you about hoarding out of paragraph 17, the author says, this crisis has tested limits because the spike in demand is nationwide. It's been going on for some time and it's open-ended. So there are 3 things here, and I'd like to highlight a little bit of the vocabulary. The first thing is the spike in demand nationwide. Now, a spike, we've seen this word in other articles in the past, but a spike is a sudden, sharp increase in something. So demand has shot up suddenly, and not just in one locality, but everywhere. This is one of the big differences between, say, a big storm and the coronavirus situation. the spike is everywhere in demand. So that's point one. The second point is it's been going on for some time. That is, it's a continuing problem. And lastly, the situation is open ended. Now, if you describe something as open ended, it just means there's an unknown time limit. We don't know when this situation is going to stop, so you can describe it as being open ended. A second part of the problem. Second part of the problem is displacement. Okay? Displacement happens when something has been replaced by something else. It does have this negative or forceful image about it. It's not a happy replacement. And so the quotation about displacement I give is what we talked about a little bit earlier. Home TP is softer. It is packaged in smaller rolls. It's made and distributed by different companies than are the jumbo rolls seen in offices, institutional settings like schools, and public restrooms. I know this for a fact. A couple weeks ago, as there was no regular toilet paper on the shelves, I went into the supermarket. There were about 6 packs in the whole supermarket. But they were all this stuff here. Not soft, industrial style. So I decided I was going to buy a pack of these 4 rolls. Single ply, very thin. Wish me luck. But like I said, today I was lucky. In recent weeks, we've been luckier. And so we've been able to get regular toilet paper. And I hope you have too, and not too much of that stuff. Anyway, this regular home toilet paper has been displaced by this sort of cheaper and not so nice industrial stuff like this. That's part of the problem. Okay. Third part of the problem is described as adapting on the fly. Okay, on the fly, really interesting phrase. To do something on the fly is doing something in real time without pausing to plan. The situation is very changeable, unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen next. And so you have to keep changing and changing and adapting and adapting. In that situation, you are adapting on the fly. The quotation I'll give you here is from paragraph 20. It says, another problem about the industrial toilet paper is they often don't have barcodes on the package. Stores therefore have trouble stocking them. Stores are adapting by putting on little code stickers like the ones that they put onto pieces of fruit in order to sell the commercial rolls. So, the commercial toilet paper, the industrial type toilet paper is not, it's not even packaged right for stores. And so companies have had to take some time to adapt to this and, simple things like barcodes or nicer packaging in order to substitute one style of toilet paper for the nicer style of toilet paper. I want to skip down one, just paragraph 24. There's a vocabulary word, to abate. It's a verb, and it just means to change from bad to better. The toilet paper shortage, I hope, has abated. I can get toilet paper easily enough right now, no trouble, which is good news. Hopefully, the coronavirus situation will abate very soon, and we can all get back to leading pretty normal lives. So that's the word abate. Now, paragraph 25. Again, interesting point about human nature and toilet paper. Who knew? The quotation here. In the 1990s, a manager at Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium stole $34,000 worth of toilet paper, leaving the ballpark short before an Eagles football game. Now, to leave something short means just to create the situation where there is not enough of something. Okay. My heavy spending earlier this month has left me short of cash, as an example sentence. Philadelphia. I don't know if you know much about Philadelphia's sports fans. They have kind of an image in America. Um, the most famous story I know is Philadelphia sports fans at a game once booed Santa Claus. They booed Santa Claus. Pretty tough crew, but if you got no toilet paper, I can see why they might have been. Okay. Skipping out, paragraph 26. Another interesting toilet paper fact. It says the modern notion that TP is essential was created by the companies that first sold Americans on using the product in the 1940s. Now, to sell someone on something means just to convince them that something is true. So it seems very interesting. Such a everyday basic product like toilet paper actually had to be marketed and sold, and sales talked to the American public and the world public by marketing people. It's a pretty interesting one, and there's a great example of how they did it in this slide. Paragraph 27. The toilet paper people, the marketers, had an enormous ad campaign that terrified women with surgeons with gloves and scalpels, saying, "It's a pity she didn't buy her husband proper toilet paper." Wow, that's amazing. So be careful. Stay away from this stuff if you can. Stick to the proper toilet paper. Otherwise, hey, you might end up in hospital. All right. Getting toward the end, paragraph 28. It talks about the pre-toilet paper days, one of those mysterious times that I didn't know much about. But here it says, in an emergency, today's consumers could revert to using newspaper or book pages, as their grandparents did. Okay, to revert to means to return to some previous and less desirable, not so good situation. So it sounds like grandma and grandpa, newspapers and book pages. Wow, grandma, I had no idea. If only I knew. Paragraph 28, another interesting fact about toilet paper. It says, actually, toilet paper is mostly water, just like people, which is blended in manufacturing process with pressure cooked wood chips. I guess just like people. So humans and toilet paper, I guess we have a few things in common. Paragraph number 30. This is at the end. We're right at the end of the article here, and talks about how toilet paper has seeped into the popular consciousness. Great vocabulary here. To seep into something is the kind of the way that liquid slowly enters some object. You might talk about water gradually seeping into the concrete and kind of weakening a foundation or a building. The second half, also useful vocabulary, the popular consciousness, and I'll just define that as being common sense. So the necessity of toilet paper has slowly seeped into the popular consciousness. Okay, that's it for this article. In the future, I hope to be back with some other articles I can recommend for you to read, but I wanted to make this video just to cover a little bit of what we do in class and give you just a taste. I thought it was a really interesting article, a good read. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend you do so. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope you all stay well, and look forward to seeing you again real soon. Thank you very much.